Grammy TAPS here again, and I'm here to share with you Kindergarten Lessons Part 2. Do you remember what we talked about last time about sharing and not hitting and saying, I'm sorry when we've hurt someone? I hope you've been practicing those things. I've been practicing them, and it sure feels good to share something. And in fact, I learned how to do something new. I learned how to make a PowerPoint presentation because there was a message I wanted to share with some young college students. And so I learned how to do that, and I put it together, and last night I shared it with them. And so I put together a PowerPoint presentation for you today because one of our children said, Mom, do you know that having a whiteboard with words on it is really boring for a 3-year-old? And so I made a PowerPoint presentation and put pictures with it. So I hope you enjoy it this time. So here's our first one, Kindergarten Lessons, Part 2. Does this kind of look like a kindergarten class? And the first one we're talking about today is putting things back where they belong. And we have a picture here with children playing with different things, different toys and games, and they have different activities. And it's fun to play with toys or to color or even to make something in the kitchen. But when we get things out, it's especially important to put them away so that we can find them again. Because sometimes Mom and Dad look for things, or maybe you look for things that maybe one of your brothers or sisters borrowed or played with and you want it, or maybe it's a piece of clothing that you want to wear and you can't find it because someone borrowed it and didn't put it away. That is really frustrating. I know there were many times that our children used things of mine and didn't put them where they belonged, and I spent a lot of time looking for it. But when they're in the right place, then it's easy to find. And we have this picture right here where everything is neat and orderly.
Every time you touch it.
Oh, and it went to the next picture. When everything's neat and orderly, it makes it easy to find. So remember to put things back where they belong when you're finished with it. And that brings us to the next one. Clean up your mess. And if you see in this picture, there are children playing with different things. Whoops, I did it again. And they were playing with different toys and things, and some of them were playing together. But whenever we play with or use something, we need to clean up our own mess. Moms and dads don't like to clean up after us because you know what? They have their own messes that they need to clean up, and they have their own responsibilities. So when you clean up your mess, you actually save Mom and Dad time, and you make them happy. So in school, you learn to clean up your own mess, and at home, you can clean up your own mess. I know that even still today, when Grandpa makes a mess and cleans it up, I really appreciate that. And the same goes for him. When I make a mess, he doesn't want to clean up after me, so I clean up after myself. So I want you to practice that too, okay? And here's the next one. Wash your hands before you eat. Did you know that we get a lot of germs on our hands all day long by touching things, whether we're touching a doorknob or playing outside or we're eating? We just get a lot of germs on our hands, and so we need to wash our hands to make sure that they're clean before we eat so we don't get any germs in our food and we're not getting it into our body. So washing your hands is a good way also to stay healthy. And our last one we're talking about today is flush. Do you see him standing by that toilet? Whenever we go to the bathroom, we need to make sure we flush when we are done. And that helps keep the bathroom and the toilet clean. Have you ever walked into a bathroom and someone didn't flush? Or maybe they did flush and the toilet was broken. In fact, that happened to me just a couple days ago. I was in a public restroom and I walked in and there was a line of women waiting to go to the bathroom. And when somebody walked out, I walked over and I could tell that she had flushed the toilet, but it didn't go down. And so I waited a moment and I tried to flush it again and it overflowed. And there was a drain on the floor right there, so the water was able to go down the drain. But everyone knew not to go into that stall, so I needed to wait for another one. So sometimes if someone has tried to flush it and it didn't flush, maybe we just need to get an adult and to take care of it so it doesn't make a mess. I remember once too when I was younger where I was at someone's home visiting and I flushed the toilet, but it didn't flush very well and I didn't know what to do. I was really embarrassed. So if that ever happens to you, just a good thing is just to find an adult and to say, I think there's something wrong with the toilet. I flushed it, but it didn't flush. And so that way, an adult knows that there might be a problem and they can take care of it. So those are the 4 things that we have to talk about today. Put things where they belong, clean up your own mess, wash your hands before eating, flush, and then wash your hands again. And that disappeared. That means we're at the end of our presentation and our PowerPoint. I want to invite you this week to practice those 4 things at home and at school. So when you get things out or you borrow something that belongs to maybe mom or dad or your brother or sister, put it back where it belongs. And when you make a mess, clean up after yourself. Remember to wash your hands, and you need to use soap and water to wash your hands, and always flush the toilet. Those are good things to remember, and I will continue practicing those things too this week. I love you. You add value to my life. I am so glad you're part of my family, and I look forward each time I get to share a message with you. So have a wonderful week and share with me some of the things you're doing and learning, because I love to learn from you too. Until next week, this is Grammy TAPS signing off. Bye-bye.